the Equality Lab survey has really become kind of the fuel behind the success of these policies. And so again, the weaponizing, the Quality Labs have taken advantage of well-meaning administrators, and administrators, quite frankly, are not doing their job. If they have a legal counsel, which every university does, that legal counsel has failed in exercising due diligence and looking at this data set, if you even want to call it data. Equality Labs in 2018 conducted the survey, and I wrote about it back then when the results came out. It was a snowball sample of only activists within that political ecosystem, which is kind of a far left, radical left ecosystem. No major Indian or Hindu group or temple was invited to participate. It's also manipulated data in that those people who responded as not identifying with a caste, those responses were thrown out. The options for caste were, I believe, 4, and even if we don't know what caste is, even if you were to presume that they're jatis, there's not 4 jatis, there's thousands of jatis. So that's another example of how this data was manipulated. Bottom line is, not only was it not conducted scientifically, but more importantly, the results are not generalizable. And so to base any sort of policy change on concocted data is a dangerous precedent that universities need to be very wary of, because they're opening up huge liability for themselves, because they're implementing policies that are going to end up discriminating against their Hindu and Indian students based on a discriminatory report. And also that same organization that came up with the report also provides caste trainings. So there's a profit motive there as well. And I think that that's deeply problematic.
In research, we have a saying that if you torture the data sufficiently, it will confess to anything. And that's what Equality Labs did. They tortured the data, threw away everything that was not giving them the results they wanted, and they ended up showing that there is a lot of discrimination based on caste. Actually, the number was so high, I think it was around 40 or 50%, that Carnegie Endowment for Peace got very concerned. And they did a study just to make sure they understand the social dynamics within the Indo-American community or the Indian diaspora. And when they did the study, they found nothing, literally nothing. Indians did report discrimination on the basis of color, religion, what have you. But when it came to caste, it was, when all controls are put into place, only 2.5% among Indian Americans. And that actually is within the margin of error. So it might very well be 0 based on what we had. So this is the reality, but Equality Labs was very successful in putting all those results out and convincing. When we talked to the people at CSU, when I talked to various reporters, when I was giving interviews on this, they had no idea about the Carnegie study. They only knew about the Equality Lab study. So we have started forcing the reporters to look at it. And I must say that the last 2 interviews were more neutral, I would say, compared to the initial ones, which were always one-sided. So we have a lot of work cut out for us, and we have to make sure that any other place Equality Labs is going to sell their propaganda, we should have a counter narrative, counter evidence present for the universities. And as Suhag mentioned, that if they have it, if they know that this study is flawed, anybody who's on the legal side of the university will stop it, because they know that this can have serious repercussions. I think to some extent, we have a lot of work cut out for ourselves. So I'll stop here. Thank you.